You are walking through waist-high grass on the East African savanna, roughly 2 million years ago, and the sun is dropping into that particular shade of orange that means the day shift is ending and the night shift is clocking in. Something exhales, 20 feet to your left. You didn't see it move. You never do. The grass doesn't even shift. Your whole body already knows before your brain catches up. It's a lion. Not the lion you know from documentaries. This one is bigger, heavier, built for a world that no longer exists, and it has been watching you for longer than you've been watching it. Right now, you're probably reading this from a couch, a bed, behind a locked door, with the nearest apex predator being a spider in the corner of the ceiling. No fences to check before dark, no fires to feed before you sleep, no listening, out of habit, for a particular kind of silence in the grass. For most of the time modern humans have existed on this planet, that sentence would have made no sense at all. So how did you, or someone built exactly like you, same legs, same skin, same soft clawless hands, survive being neither the fastest animal on that savanna, nor the strongest, nor remotely armed? How did ancient humans escape hungry lions, not once, but for literally millions of years, without going extinct? Start with the size of the problem you were actually facing. In 1985, researchers recovered a nearly complete cave lion skeleton near Sigsdorf, Germany, a male standing about 4 feet at the shoulder, stretching nearly 7 feet long without the tail. A 2011 study in Quaternary Science Reviews by paleontologists Anthony Stewart and Adrian Lister cataloged dozens of these skeletons across Europe and confirmed that the earliest cave lions, Panthera fossilis, weighed up to 500 kilograms, more than a quarter-ton heavier than the biggest lion alive in Africa today. Their range stretched from Britain to Alaska, and they didn't disappear until roughly 13,000 years ago. That's not a passing threat. That's a predator you shared nearly every continent, and nearly your entire evolutionary history with. You weren't going to outrun that. You weren't going to outfight it either. So what was actually standing between you and being dinner? Not strength, you had none to speak of. In 2005, researchers Per Christensen and Jan Adolfsson modeled bite forces across 56 carnivore species for the Journal of Zoology. Their numbers put an adult lion's bite at roughly 650 pounds per square inch. Yours is about 150. That's not a disadvantage. That's the difference between a bear trap and a handshake. Forget outrunning it, too. A lion can hit 50 miles an hour in a handful of strides. Usain Bolt, the fastest human ever timed, has never once cracked 28. You have no claws built for defense, no fangs, no fur thick enough to blunt a swipe, and no reflective layer behind your eyes to gather extra light after dark, the way a lion's does. In every category that matters at night, you were built to lose. And picture the wrong lion while you're at it. Everyone imagines a shaggy mane, straight out of a nature documentary. The roughly 36,000-year-old paintings inside France's Chauvet Cave, found by explorers in December 1994, render cave lions in careful, deliberate detail, and not one of them has a mane. Smooth-necked, built for speed. Built to be missed in the grass until it was already too late. Here's the irony, though. Lions already knew the trick that would eventually save you. They rarely hunt alone. A pride works in roles, some driving prey forward, others waiting low in the grass for the ambush, because even an animal built like that doesn't love its odds one-on-one. You were the same story in a far weaker body. You just took longer to figure out that the group, not the individual, was the unit that actually survived out there. And that lesson started earlier than almost anyone assumes. In 2012, archaeologist Francesco Berna of Boston University examined ash and burned bone buried more than 30 meters inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, too deep for any wildfire or lightning strike to reach on its own. His team's analysis, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, dated the burning to roughly 1 million years ago. Controlled fire, 300,000 years earlier than anything confirmed before it. Firelight didn't just cook your food and soften it for smaller teeth. It pushed back the one advantage a lion had that you never would: total comfort in the dark. But here's the part that should be obvious, and isn't. Your weapons came absurdly late. In 1994, archaeologist Hartmut Thieme was excavating a coal mine near Schningen, Germany, when he pulled out a set of wooden spears preserved in waterlogged clay, dated to around 300,000 years ago, balanced like javelins, engineered to fly straight. Among the bones scattered nearby, one horse pelvis still had a spear jammed straight through it. They're the oldest deliberately made hunting weapons ever found on Earth, which means for well over 1 million years before that spear existed, the entire gap between the first lion-adjacent humans and the first purpose-built weapon, you had nothing sharp to hold onto at all. Everyone assumes the win came from learning to fight back. The timeline says otherwise. Fire came first. The spear came almost embarrassingly late. And something else was doing the real work in between. So what was that something else? In 2017, anthropologist David Sampson at the University of Toronto fitted Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania, people who still sleep outdoors in groups, the way you would have, with activity trackers for 20 nights. Across more than 13,000 recorded minutes of sleep, every single person in the group was asleep at exactly the same moment for a grand total of 18 minutes. The rest of the time, someone was awake, not standing guard on purpose, just naturally out of sync, because younger and older adults run on different internal clocks, drifting off and waking at different hours without ever coordinating it out loud. Teenagers stay up late, grandparents wake at dawn. Between them, the group was covered around the clock without a single person volunteering for the job. Everyone assumes the winning move was a weapon. It wasn't. It was never sleeping completely alone. Go back to that grass field, 2 million years ago, that shape 20 feet to your left. What kept you alive wasn't your legs, and it wasn't your fists, and it wasn't even the fire. It was the fact that somewhere close enough to hear, close enough to shout, somebody else was awake too, watching the same dark you were. You've since built walls and locks and streetlights to do that job instead. And most of you will never once need another person to keep a lion off your chest while you sleep. That's real progress, and it's worth having. It also means you are now among the first humans in 2 million years to fall asleep completely alone in the dark, and mean it literally. Because for once, nobody nearby is actually standing watch. Some nights your body still seems to know that. It just doesn't know why anymore. The lions are gone. Most of us just never got around to telling our bodies that.